This is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Haralambous.
Coming up this week, the authorities say they're going to crack down on crime that is organised from our prison.
There is a lot more that can be done if you have the right policies and the right tools necessary that will be implemented by the right people. And I think we need to emphasize more the prison staff.
Sunday sees the start of Tree Week.
3 weeks this year will start on 26th of November and will end on 2nd of December.
And next weekend, over 100 young musicians from Systema Cyprus will be getting together to give you A Crescendo of Dreams at the Nicosia Municipal Theatre.
We are asking for freedom, we are asking for education, we want knowledge, and all the kids, doesn't matter from where they are coming, we need to have the same rights.
Front page news this week concerned organised crime in our prison system. Prison guards have been instructed to carry out thorough checks on inmates to find illicit mobile phones. Now, this is something I recall talking about probably at least 10 years ago, when there was a plan to immobilise mobile phones in the prison. This, it seems, has not happened. I'm joined on the programme this week by former prison governor, emeritus professor at the University of Cyprus and the University of Cambridge, Andreas Kapardis. Andreas, you were prison governor, so you know a lot of how the prison works. What do you make of all this news suddenly this week about organised crime?
My experience as prison governor was a good 33 years ago, 32. And of course, that was a very useful experience for a year when I worked my sabbatical leave in that position, and then I went back to my university. But that experience showed me, if you like, a few things which are relevant to our discussion this morning. The first one is that the prison reflects the society outside, and the prison service also reflects other government services. And I'll be more specific. First of all, the crime has changed over the years. The two big changes are the tremendous increase in illegal narcotics, and secondly is the income which offenders can accumulate who indulge in that practice. Now, when you put those two and two together, then that explains that there is money to bribe, there is money to acquire services and so on, where they shouldn't be available. This points to the risk, the high risk of any government service being compromised. And the prison service is no exception. If someone brings mobile phones into the prison, it's not someone is capable of bringing in, how do they get in? So one needs to ask the question, how is it possible for a secure prison? Secure means also having up-to-date intelligence from within the prison wings. How is it possible for that to happen? From my experience, that points to perhaps low integrity as a feature of some members of the staff.
Well, I thought that a long time ago, the sort of airport scanning system was introduced for people going in and out of the prison.
Yeah, that's the metal detectors. I initiated that change years ago. Personally, and I remember it really made a big difference. It made the work of the prison officers easier and more effective, because they were more effective and efficient. At the same time, if you have a corrupt prison officer, a single one, and of course, one single prison officer may be compromised by criminals. Some criminals are very adept at cultivating individuals. Then it's easy to either bribe them, compromise them, whatever, and then they do them their favors, their illegal favors, which might include bringing in. So another way is, in addition to that, there are a number of loopholes in the prison. We're talking about the central prison. There are vans that come in, that bring in food, that bring in supply other services, and that's another way that they could come in, and they don't go through the metal detector. So it's a question of the prison authorities keeping a very close eye on what goes on everywhere in the prison, being able to have up-to-date intelligence and being a step ahead. And I think this is what is not happening. They need to invest more in, if you like, criminal intelligence, and of course secure the prison from every aspect. And that's when you have weaknesses in the system, they are bound to be exploited, and this is what's happening. It doesn't mean all the staff are corrupt by all means. Please, I'm not saying that. But even if you have a couple of prison officers out of the large number that work there, that's enough to compromise the system.
Now, the Justice Minister, I think, said during a meeting at Parliament this week that next year's budget would be including something for purchasing an anti-drone system. Does that mean that prisoners are getting stuff dropped in over the wall by drones?
It's possible. Drones can be bought on the free market, and criminals use always the best technology because they don't need approval for their budget. For the following year, they have enough money, more than enough, to invest in technology. So with that in mind, it's good that the Minister of Justice, I think it's a good forward, if you like, thinking to acquire anti-drone technology. The drones are very small. In the course of the night, if they are overflying a particular spot, they can drop anything you like with a small parachute. So that's what they can land and take off too. I think it's a good idea because you have to keep up with the latest technology.
And it seems that the authorities are not actually keeping up with the latest technology. So if they're always one step behind, how are they going to put a stop to this?
The authorities comprise a number of different services. You have the prison officers, but within the arena that we are talking about, you have, first of all, policing, and there are different subdivisions that collect intelligence. Then you have those in the Ministry of Justice with different, if you like, responsibilities for the prison system. And then you have so you have these mechanisms and procedures, but then you have a population which by definition, they are not, what do you call them in English, katechitiko. They are not Sunday school boys, okay? And let's remember that in the last couple of decades, especially, crime has evolved in Cyprus as in other countries. We have younger criminals, more adept, with more money, and sometimes more ruthless. So that makes it more challenging. And this is where I think it's important for the criminal justice, the Ministry of Criminal Justice, to first of all be well informed of what is going on, and then you can be a step ahead. If you research, if you study continuously, and you keep your eyes open and your ears, then you can be a step ahead. If you sit in an office and you go to meetings of the European Union as experts, and that's all they do, some of them, then the expertise that you need to handle what hanky-panky goes on the ground is simply not there.
And what about the fact that for years and years, mobile phones have been used in the prison, and that's very often how these criminals get in touch with their hitmen or whatever, and we've just had a couple of high-profile murders, haven't we? So that's obviously still going on. And I think back when you were governor or shortly after, there was a discussion about blocking phone signals in the prisons. And it seems that all this time has passed, it hasn't been done. And now the Justice Ministry says that their provider couldn't meet the agreement set out for them. So one wonders why they got the tender. And that the Transport Ministry is looking to find a new system, but this will take time.
I'm not surprised. The way tenders work generally is the one that wins is the one with the lowest cost, usually. If they don't select the cheapest, they have to justify their choice, and then there is a system of appeals. It's a slightly bureaucratic process, to put it mildly. Obviously, what is needed is, as I said, to think outside the box. There is a problem, and implement those solutions that will greatly reduce the problem. Nobody can eradicate crime in prisons. Nobody has done it, has been able to do it in any country with globally, but there is a lot more that can be done if you have the right policies and the right tools necessary that will be implemented by the right people. And I think we need to emphasize more the prison staff. For example, one idea that was implemented years ago is if you have a very large prison wing, then it's very difficult to control what goes on and to know. But if you have small units, if you make them into small units, and every week they rotate, and nobody knows where they will be next week, the following week, neither the staff nor the prisoners, then you reduce the risk of some of this going on. So there are means, there are methods one can use. And here I should maybe say a word about a complaint, if you like, by the criminologists in Cyprus. We have an association of criminologists. There are many people with qualifications and experience overseas. The government does not employ criminologists.
So they need some expert advice as well. But if we go back
I think so. I think they need to supplement the civilian staff there, and they are public employees for all intents and purposes, with specialist experts.
But back to this business of the tenders, I know very well over years of studying this, not in the prison service, but in other areas in Cyprus, that tenders tend to be written very specifically to say what is required. And that's why I can't understand why a tenderer who didn't meet the specifications, and it doesn't matter if they were the cheapest, if they didn't meet the specifications, they shouldn't have got the tender.
Yes, it's a legal problem. In some respects, we still have a rather antiquated legal system. I'm talking about this part of our legal system, which maybe needs to be synchronized, updated, modernized.
And so we're back, aren't we, to the digitisation of government? Because if all of this was cross-checkable, then it wouldn't happen, would it?
It would reduce the risk greatly, I think. And I agree with you. And also, what we need a long-term strategy, which is lacking, to deal with crime in society, which includes the prison and other sectors, which will coordinate. Well, first of all, you have a strategy means you have a vision, you have measures that you will take right now, medium term and long term, and you also coordinate the different services involved, but there is someone with a bird's eye view of what goes on, and that someone has the general command and monitors and evaluates continuously. We need a new approach, in my humble opinion, to deal with the problems of today, including the one we are talking about, Rosie.
Well, it doesn't seem to be going forward very fast, but I suppose that if there is some hope, it is that something will be done fairly soon.
I think there seems to be a positive approach from within the Ministry of Justice, and that's to their credit. What they need is to utilize more expertise so that they will always be a step ahead and not follow events.
Andreas Kapardis, Emeritus Professor at the University of Cyprus and Cambridge and a former prison governor. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you, Rosie. It's been a pleasure and I've enjoyed our conversation.
Keep up to date with events in Cyprus and around the world with the Cyprus News Digest.
The Forestry Department is gearing up for Tree Week. It starts this Sunday and runs through until December the 2nd. So we're joined once again on the programme by George Constantinou from the Department of Forest to tell us what they have planned. George, welcome back to the programme. And what do you have planned? A whole week of events, I think.
Hello there. Let me first talk something about forests. Forests and trees are vital to our lives. They provide shelter for animals, for everything found outside in the forest. They provide food, wood products. And every year, the Department of Forest, by the end of November, we announce the so-called Tree Week. The purpose is to remind people that we need and we depend on forests, and that we have to protect them and plant more trees. First of all, the Tree Week this year will start on 26th of November and will end on 2nd of December. Starting the 3-week, an opening ceremony will take place next Sunday, November 26th at 11 o'clock in the morning at Kokinotremithia Primary School B. The program of the ceremony will include speeches from the Honorary Minister of Agriculture from the school, and also will include artistic program by students of the school and also members of Cyprus Codes and so on. The event will include also poems, dances by students, and will end by planting on the school grounds. The Department of Forest now will provide to the public some free seedlings during this day. Regarding Nicosia, this will take place at the Kokinotremithia Primary School at 11 o'clock in the morning, but also during this day, free seedlings will be provided to the public at Eleftheria Square, at Magariou Avenue, at Athalassa National Forest Park, and also at the National Forest Park of Academy. Some other events during the week include some other ceremonies in other districts. Let's say at the Limassol district, this will take place on Friday, 1st of December at 9:30 in the morning at Primary School of Ipsonas. Regarding Larnaca and Famagusta, this will be held on Friday, December 1st at 10 o'clock in the morning at Liopetri Primary School. Regarding Paphos district, this ceremony will take place on Friday, 26th of January at 10 o'clock in the morning at Rumbi Primary School.
Now then, let's talk about caring for trees, because you're giving out all these saplings and a lot of people go along and they're very pleased to get a free tree. But how many of them really know how to look after them? Because when they're small, they have to be cared for quite carefully, don't they? Can you give some hints as to what people should be doing if they come and collect one of your saplings?
Yes, first of all, the trees we are going to give to the people are acclimatized in Cyprus environment, which will get one seedling, has to plant it, and prepare the soil, first of all, the ground, in order to open correctly the hole in the ground, and then to place that seedling in that hole and irrigate it. We have to irrigate plants, especially during summer, and also to take care of the seedlings. Regarding weeds, let's say, we have to remove weeds very early when they appear in the ground.
Now, I know from what I do in my own garden, George, that when you plant anything, you dig the hole, and it's quite important, I think, to water the hole before you actually place the plant in it, so that the roots start to go down towards the water.
Yes, we start by digging the ground in order to open the hole. If the soil is not so good for the plant, it's better to put some good soil within the hole, then to irrigate the hole, and then to plant the trees, and then again to irrigate the plant.
And am I right, you should also sort of tread around the trunk so that you get out any air pockets?
Yes, that's right. We have to step firmly in the ground in order to remove any holes in the ground.
So what sort of trees are you going to be giving out? You said that they're ones that can survive well in Cyprus. What's on offer?
Well, there are a lot of trees, a lot of species. This depends on, first of all, where will you plant it? Let's say we have trees which you will have it for 100 or even 1,000 years, trees which grow up to 30, 40 meters, or any shrubs. This depends on the site you will plant it.
So tell us about the trees. Pine, I imagine, is one of the endemic species here, isn't it?
It's not actually endemic, it's a popular species in Cyprus. Most of our forest is pine forest. They may plant cedars, they may plant some other species,
Is there a particular species that the forestry department would like to see more of planted? Because we've had fires, haven't we? We don't know exactly what's been destroyed.
Regarding forest fires, it's better to use broadleaves, let's say tree-pins and plane trees. This is actually need some water. They have to take care about the plants during the first 3 to 4 years.
But after that, they're pretty well self-sustaining, I think, aren't they? So we're talking to people here who would like to plant a tree and suggesting that they go to the places you mentioned. I'm sure this information is available online. Where can people double-check when you'll be in their area? So where can people find all the information you've been telling me today online, so a little nearer the date they can check that you'll be in their area with those trees and go and get theirs?
All this information regarding plants, regarding prices and so on is available on our website, in the Department of Forest official website.
Lovely. George, I wish you the very best of luck with Tree Week. We need many, many more of them. And thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much.
You can subscribe to the Cyprus News Digest on iTunes for free and get the program downloaded to your phone or tablet so you can listen anytime, anywhere.
On Sunday, the 3rd of December, A Crescendo of Dreams is coming to the Nicosia Municipal Theatre, just in time for Christmas. It's a performance by Systema Cyprus, and we're going to talk now to their artistic director and conductor, Santiago Osa Alzate. Santiago, we spoke several months ago, I think, when you had another concert, but I want to know a little bit more about Systema Cyprus, and particularly this concert upcoming in December, because you're bringing over a guest conductor, Ruben Kova Villalobos, and I think he's somebody that you studied under when you were in South America in the Systema there.
Yeah, for me it's an honor to know that we are going to have Ruben Kova Villalobos as a guest conductor of Systema Cyprus, because when I started in Medellin, Ruben Kova was one of the first conductors that moved from Venezuela to Colombia to help all the teachers and all the conductors in my city to get the new vibe of El Sistema from Venezuela. So, of course, I grew up seeing him, how he was conducting the orchestra, how he was creating a new atmosphere and energy in the orchestra. And I think because he has a lot of experience in this term, our kids in Systema Cyprus, we are on the level now to bring this guest conductor and to bring this knowledge that we are really looking forward. Ruben Kova, it's one of the first conductors from El Sistema, and for us it's an honor that he's coming to Cyprus and he will going to work with our orchestras, and we are really looking forward for this.
Now, you're going to use, I think, some of your musicians from Larnaca and Nicosia. Tell me a little bit more about the individuals who will be taking part in this concert.
Well, we have different orchestras. In Larnaca, we have our woodwinds, brass and percussion ensemble. And in Nicosia, we have the string orchestra and also the percussion ensemble. For this location and for this concert, we will going to have a side-by-side with both orchestras. And because each family is different between the woodwinds, brass, percussion, we have the opportunity to have the full symphony orchestra. So we have our full symphony orchestra on the stage, around 120 kids playing all together for this concert, under the conducting of Ruben Kova.
And how long have these kids been in Systema? Because I guess you've had some new arrivals, perhaps. How do they fit in with the ones who've been there a bit longer?
Yeah, you're right, because our first orchestra, I call like the first generation, started 5 years ago. And in Larnaca, with this group, we started 2 years ago. And also we have the other beginner orchestra that started 1 year. That makes to have different levels in the orchestra. But as we are planning the concert, we have different moments where each orchestra will perform a specific piece on their level, but then slowly, when the concert is coming to the end, we collect each group, so the orchestra is growing and growing, to play the last pieces where everyone is together, when the music is more energetic and the melodies are like very full of rhythms. And that's how we are building. We can have different levels, but at the same time, they know that at the end of the concert, we will be all together on the stage.
Now, I think I'm right in saying that Systema Cyprus is inspired by the social action music program El Sistema that was first founded, as you said, in Venezuela. And it aims to bring children together through music, but particularly children who may live in challenging circumstances, shall we say. So where do most of the children in your orchestra here in Cyprus come from?
Well, inside of the orchestra, we have more than 25 nationalities, and that's make to have many languages inside of the orchestra. But at the same time, doesn't matter from they are coming from. We are having a universal language that is the music. So either if any of our kids or families, they speak different language, like could be Greek, Arab, either Spanish, French, we are find the common point that is the music. So it doesn't matter from they are coming. We are all together, covered by the orchestra, speaking the language of music.
It's a great idea. Now then, tell me a little bit about the composition Alas a Malala, because that's a special piece, I think, and holds a special piece for all of you because of what Malala stood for.
Yeah, I think this piece has a really strong inside out of what we are fighting for. We are asking and we are telling for the society that we want to have a world with peace. We want to have rights for the kids. And Arturo Marquez, that is a Mexican composer, he wrote this piece in 2013 to make honor of Malala. And he brought a Mexican youth orchestra playing this piece, where they have a poem in honor of Malala, saying that we are asking for freedom, we are asking for education, we want knowledge, and all the kids, doesn't matter from where they are coming, we need to have the same rights. So this piece is something that has a really strong of what we believe and what we are expecting from everyone to hear.
And it's a piece I doubt has ever been heard in Cyprus before. So tell us where people can get tickets. It's happening, we said, on the 3rd of December at 5 o'clock at the Nicosia Municipal Theatre. And tickets are available where?
Well, you can find the tickets in sold-out tickets online or also on Stephanie's shops.
All Stephanie's stores, and the cost just €6, which is a jolly good price, I think, for what promises to be a fantastic concert. Santiago, thanks again for joining me, and the best of luck, and I suppose it's a bit early, but we'll say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Rosia. Thank you so much for this.
That is Santiago Osa Alzate, the artistic director and conductor of Systema Cyprus. Look out for their upcoming concert in the Nicosia Municipal Theatre on the 3rd of December.
This is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Haralambous.
And finally, a reminder that November the 29th is International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian People, according to a decision by the UN General Assembly. This year, the Embassy of the State of Palestine in Cyprus is organising a blood donation with the slogan, "Your Blood, Our Hope," to commemorate the lives lost in occupied Palestine, especially in Gaza. The blood donation will take place at the Embassy of Palestine next Wednesday between 10 in the morning and 1 p.m. You're invited to go and give your blood. Now, clearly the blood can't be flown to Gaza at the moment. It will in fact be donated to the Cyprus Blood Bank. But as and when it's possible, our blood bank will also send blood to Gaza. Well, that about wraps up this edition of the Cyprus News Digest. Many thanks for your company. Hope you'll join me next week. Till we meet again, take care and God bless. Bye-bye now.